afternoon, or if you're in a different part of the world entirely, good morning, because we don't know where anyone in the world is. I am here today in a very cold house because my boiler broke last night. We've had the plumber around, but it's not quite fixed yet, so it's freezing cold in my house. Hence, I've got a bit of a scarf on to try and keep you warm, and I might keep doing this. Also, I've got Mrs. Fronsdorf Harris, which is my full name, downstairs doing a music lesson all about going on a bear hunt. So you may hear, we're going on a bear hunt throughout the lesson. That's not something I can do anything about. I said to her, why can't you be a bit quieter? And she said, it's not allowed. Anyway, today we're going to be don't know what happened there. Today we're going to be talking about decimals. We are going to look at ordering decimals, what a decimal is, adding and subtracting decimals, and using it to solve wordy problems. Ooh, wordy. So, let's go straight into the introduction, and then on the other side of the introduction, I'll introduce again the lesson that's going to happen in the bit after that. Go. So, hello. We are now ready to join the studio. Studio? Yeah, it's a studio. Here it is. And in the studio is an equation for you to correct while I say some hellos. So, can you correct that equation and say what is wrong with it? Why is it not working? Feel free to do that. Now, while we do that, we have a few things to address for some of the live people. So I'm going to first of all say some good mornings to Adeline, who's joining us today. I'm going to say good morning to Alvi. I'm going to say, not good morning, good afternoon to Isaac and Alvi and Adeline. And anyone else who joined us, feel free to use the chat. Now, let's point out one more person we haven't said hello to because we missed her birthday lesson last week due to having to have a week without anything because some of you aren't aware that I design board games and we've got a big project coming up which I had to do loads of work for, still ongoing. Now, we've got to sing happy birthday while people are trying to work out this question. So, happy birthday to Kyra. Everyone at home, even if you're not watching this live, I don't care. I want you to stop what you're doing right now and I want you to sing with me happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kyra. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. And I believe she's 47 years old. So brilliant. Lovely to see you, Kyra. Now, unfortunately, when we do this one, our calculator will always do times before it does add. So when we do this, it would do 5 times 2 is 10, add 4. But as Adeline has said in the chat, if we put some brackets in around the 2 and the 4 and make it so it does that first, we say to the calculator, no, you're going to do this one first. It will go, oh, okay then, I will. Because that's how brackets talk. That's how equations talk. Oh, I'll do these ones first. And it will do 2 add 4 first, which is 6. Then times by 5 is 30. So that's how we fix it, by adding in some brackets. Little puzzle for you there. So, moving on to our decimal arithmetic today. Okay, we're going to be talking about all things decimals. Now, decimals are used when you've got a whole number, but a bit more. And there's one thing that is a bit of a pet hate of mine. So we're going to talk about that first. I'm going to move myself over. Look how far over I am because I haven't moved myself after the number side lesson. So, we are going to talk about this because, and here's my big concern, people get very, very confused about decimals when there's a different number of decimals going on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I need to disappear from the screen and I need to press advance on here. It's all complicated. Here we go. Here's 2 decimals. Now, on these 2 decimals, some people get very confused that the bottom one is the biggest one. And they go, no, because one's 34 and one's 0.4. And 34 is bigger than 4. But they're wrong. Because that's not how decimals work. It is not 34. It is 12.34. And if I hear people saying 12.34, I put them in the bin. I don't actually put them in the bin. No, I don't put them in the bin. But I do say to them, and I do my little waggly finger. It's not 34, it's 3-4. And so we look down where, if you line them up with the decimal point, look down where the arrow is, you see that the 3 is smaller than the 4. So when we compare the tenths, we look at just the first decimal place. The 3 is smaller than the 4, so 12.4 must be the bigger number. To help us, you could make it 12.40. You are always allowed to put zeros on the ends of numbers, and it doesn't change the number. It doesn't become 40. Remember what I said? It's not 40 or 34. It's 3, 4, and 4 or 40. It just means there's 0 hundredths. What this means is there's 3 little bits and 4 tiny bits. But the other one's got 4 little bits, and little bits are much bigger than tiny bits. So that's why the 4 is bigger. Moving on. Here's some numbers I want to put in order. Now, before I can put them in order, I want to put them in order. Now, that might sound a bit weird. Let me show you what I mean. I want to make them disappear. And now they're all lined up in order with the decimal point lined up. This is how we're going to sort them. We're going to look down. Now, one of these numbers should jump out as clearly being the biggest. So it's going to go to the bottom of the list. And that is the 30.58. Because it's clearly bigger than all the 3s. The numbers before the decimal we compare first. So the 30 is much bigger than the 3s, so it goes to the bottom. The next thing we're going to do is look, all the rest of them are 3s, so we're going to 3.0 is the smallest number up there, because the first number is what we're comparing first. 3.058 will be the smallest. Then we look at the next numbers. Now, there is 2 numbers that are 3.50, but one you don't see the 0. And that's because 3.5 is 3.50000. We just don't write zeros if they're at the end. So 3.5 must be the next smallest, because 3.508 is 3.5 with 8 tiny bits added on. Excuse me. Sneezing in the middle of a live broadcast. You don't get that on the news, do you? And today on the 6 o'clock news, we're going to have a achoo! Don't get that. It's because of my lack of professionalism, I think. So we then have 3.508, 3.5, 3.508, and then finally 3.58. So that's, I don't think I sorted them out into the correct order. So that is how we're going to order decimals. If you ever need to order decimals, you're going to need to make sure that you line them up by the decimal point, and then we're going to use that today in our adding and subtraction. Because when we're doing adding and subtraction questions, and there is another video on the channel about this, so I wanted to make this a bit different today, so we're going to talk about wordy questions and then how we're going to go about them. We line them up, put zeros in on the end of the number to make them so they've got the same number of digits, and before them. Never put zeros in the middle of a number. Ooh, that's wrong. But if you put zeros on the end, fine. Zeros in front, fine. It just means there's nothing in front and there's nothing behind, which is fine. So we've got to do some adding and subtracting. So to do so, before I do it, we need to work out from the question what we need to use. Should we use adding or subtracting? And this is how I go about that. I say to you, let's read the question. This is my question reading voice, by the way. You may have heard it on the cassettes when you do SATs and things. Spencer Lott has a £20 note in his wallet. He buys a new panda vase for £12.78. How much does he have left? Now, the first thing we need to do is work out whether we need to take away or add. So in order to do that, we're going to imagine it's nicer numbers. Spencer Lott has a £10 note and he buys a new vase for £3. Well, if it was just nice numbers, we go £10, he spends £3, 10 take away 3. So it must be a takeaway. We then are going to go over to the studio where I can actually show you exactly what to do with it. So, come with me now. Have you come? Hopefully you did. And here was the question. It's appeared like magic. To be honest, my career as a magician would not last very long if I just made questions appear on screens. Right, so we've said that it's going to be a subtract. Here's what we do. £20. 20, notice how I've put them in different boxes, and then 0.00. I've added that on the end. We know we're doing a takeaway, and we're now going to put 12. We've got the dots. The dots must line up. So I could have just had this, you see, and the 20 goes above the 12, but I need to make it so they've both got a point and they've both got the same number up. Now we need to do a takeaway, and to do a takeaway, we're going to have to do a quite complicated series of dropping and cancelling. Because I want to steal from there, but I can't steal from there. I want to steal from that one, but I can't steal from that one because that hasn't got any, so I'm going to have to steal from that. Oh, it hasn't got any. So I'm going to have to steal from all the way over here. Steal, cross it out and put a 1 and steal 10 more there. However, if I want to do that, I'm then going to have, steal 10 there. I've made it into 10. But now I've got to steal from this one. So 10 goes down to 9, making this one 10. And 10 goes down to 9 and makes this one 10. Now I'm good to go. 10 take 8 is 2. 9 take 7 is 2. 9 take 2 is 7. And 1 take 1 is 0. But to finish off, because it's a worded question, we write a sentence answer. So, Spencer has £7.22 left. And when you're doing money questions, always make sure, even if there's a 0, you make sure you use 2 decimal places at the end of your question. Okay? So this is how we go about it. If it had been an add, we would line up the decimals and then add. For example, a different question might ask us if I've got 4.9 kilograms of carrots and I've got 2.84 kilograms of potatoes, and then what's the total weight of my veg? I've just got carrots and potatoes. It's a simple day. We're having carrot and potato stew. So we learn to add them together. We know we're going to do add because we want a total, and total is always adding. So therefore, we're going to put the decimals in here and write 4.9 and 2.84. But if you've been listening to me, have you been listening to me? You will know, what do I do here? I add. Now, the one thing I need to do is check, has anyone been asking me any questions? They might have been asking me all sorts of questions. Okay. There we go. Lots of people doing it, but you all seem to be following me, so I'm super, super happy. Okay, Alfie, you're absolutely right. You can put as many zeros on the end as you wish. Oops, I was sharing the screen. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, completely forgot what screen I was on. Okay. So here we go. We've got 4 and 17. Remember, I can put a 0 in here. So it's going to be 0, 4 is 4. That's going to be 17, so I put a little 1. And then this was 4 and 2, and the little 1 is 7. So we've got very similar answers here, but we now need to write our answer things. So we have 7.74 kilograms of vegetables. There we go. So when we're doing these questions, you take them apart. Now in the description below, you will find a worksheet with 10 of these questions for you to have a go at yourself. I would love to see the outcomes in the Facebook group or emailed to me. But when you do so, make sure you show you're working. Make sure you've got, like I've done, I've shown my working. I've got the question written down. I've then got the working I've done. And I've got an explanation of my answer. So, Spencer has £7.22. I have not said, oh, I'll just put a number. Let's see all the calculation. Let's see how you've done it. Don't use a calculator. Use your brain and what you've learned from me today. So let's go back and see if there's anything more to add from the lesson. Here we are. These are some of the amazing chickens and hens I got last week for the Taskmaster Challenge. 2 weeks ago it was. 2 weeks ago. Look at these amazing chickens and hens. I love it. The top left one wins. Everyone else still wins because they still get points. So everyone's going to get Taskmaster points when I add them to the table and build the table for this week, for the running total. But the one in the top left one gets the bonus prize of an extra couple of points because it's an amazing effort. So there'll be a leaderboard later in the week. So then we must need a new Taskmaster challenge this week. Well, it is. We have, as well as completing the worksheets. What's the best surprise you can pull from a hat? Show something. Show someone taking something out of a hat, whether it's a drawing of a picture of a person taking something out of a hat, a photo, a video, which is the most surprising thing to come out of a hat. What's the most thing that would surprise you to come out of a hat? Best surprise from a hat wins. So, that only you know what's coming next. Who have I been? I've been Mr. Harris, or Mr. Fronsdorf Harris, as we found out today. Who have you been? You haven't been Mr. Harris. Have a wonderful day. I will see you in a couple of days' time. Look after yourselves. Keep nice and warm in the cold. Keep nice and safe on the ice. And keep nice and happy at home. You're all amazing. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.